All right, so today we're going deep on LLMs.
And how they're going to like totally revolutionize.
Okay, so not just revolutionize, but like really change transportation.
Yeah, for real.
Okay, so we've got research papers.
We've got articles.
We even got like
Yeah, we've even got some early case studies.
really early case studies.
Yeah.
But they all kind of point.
They all point to this future where it's like,
Yeah, this future.
LLMs are going to be,
LLMs are not just helping us navigate.
right, they're not just like,
They're actually making...
they're making our cities smarter.
Yeah, smarter cities, smarter cars, smarter everything.
Yeah.
So for anyone listening who
Who hasn't been
totally
living and breathing AI like
obsessed with AI,
we have.
like we have,
Let's talk about like,
what's the big deal
yeah, what's the big deal with LLMs
about LLMs
when it comes to transportation?
when it comes to getting around?
And what is it about transportation?
Yeah, what is it?
I think it's all about going beyond just like recognizing patterns.
Yeah, beyond patterns.
It's like these LLMs.
It's like they can
But
They're just looking at raw data.
They're starting to understand,
understand the complexities of
like traffic flow.
traffic flow. Yeah,
Almost like a human would.
almost like a human.
Yeah,
That's kind of scary,
it is kind of scary.
but also cool.
Also super cool.
So like traffic prediction, for example.
Traffic prediction.
We're used to these systems
Like we're used to.
that look at historical data.
Yeah, historical data.
Maybe they
like factor in some
factor in some real-time update.
real-time updates, right?
With LLMs.
But LLMs can integrate
Yeah.
everything.
Everything.
From weather forecasts to social media trends.
Social media, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like
they're
not just
getting a feel for the pulse
they're not just crunching numbers, they're
of the city.
getting a feel for the pulse of the city.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay, so we're not just talking about
So we're seeing some
not
really
correcting traffic jams.
yeah, some really impressive results.
What kind of results are we seeing?
Like one of the sources.
Yeah, one of the sources.
It talks about GPT-4.
Or GPT-4, yeah.
And it's being used for traffic forecasting.
Wow.
And by like combining all this different data,
All this data, yeah.
like they can predict these ripple effects
Ripple effects, yeah.
that cause like the major jams.
Yeah, the big ones.
Hours in advance.
It's hours in advance.
It's nuts.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So it's like they're seeing these things before they even happen. Yeah.
It's wild.
I can already imagine
I know, right?
using that
Like planning your
plan.
weekend getaways and stuff.
Real getaways, yeah.
Totally.
Avoid all that traffic.
Yeah. Avoid all the traffic.
But it sounds like it's not just about
It's not just about predicting
traffic jams.
traffic jams.
It's about
That's right. It's about
the flow itself.
optimizing traffic flow.
Like the cities?
Yeah, like the city's veins.
Yeah.
Like how everything's moving.
Okay.
So think about traffic lights.
traffic lights, yeah.
Like right now,
they're pretty dumb.
yeah, they're like on
They're just on these like
fixed timers.
timers, or they've got like basic
Sort of like basic sensors. But
Sure.
imagine a
I
system
don't imagine.
where like every intersection
Where every
is controlled by an LLM.
by an LLM. Yeah.
That's like constantly
That's awesome.
analyzing
Real-time data
real-time data.
and adjusting the signal timings
So that's
to keep traffic moving smoothly.
to keep everything flowing.
Yeah.
Okay, so how
It's pretty mind-blowing.
does that work in practice?
Yeah. So
Do we have any real-world examples of this?
we do.
We do?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's this fascinating case study
Okay.
from Los Angeles
Los Angeles. Okay.
about a system called LA Light.
LA Light. And it uses an LLM
It uses an LLM
to like mimic
mimic
the decision-making
the human
of a human.
traffic control.
Traffic controller.
And the results are pretty amazing.
The results are amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so
They've seen like significant reductions
they've seen reductions
in congestion and travel time.
in congestion and travel times.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's like having this conductor
this conductor,
who has like a bird's eye view.
a bird's eye view of the entire city.
Like the whole city.
And they can
And they can just like orchestrate
orchestrate everything
everything perfectly.
perfectly. Yeah.
So cool.
Okay, so
It's wild.
let's get back to those personalized
Yeah, let's get back to that.
navigation systems you mentioned.
Yeah.
How exactly are LLMs going to change?
Okay, so
I imagine when we're driving
planning a road trip.
a road trip.
And instead of just like giving you the fastest route,
your navigation system.
Could take into account
Could take into account like your preferences.
your preferences.
Like maybe
you'd
rather take like a scenic route.
a scenic route, yeah.
Even if it adds a little time.
Add a little time, or maybe
You're a history buff.
a history buff.
And you want to pass by
Historical landmarks.
Yeah.
And it could
An LLM can process all that information.
and like
create a custom route.
Yeah.
Tailored to your interests.
Tailored to you.
That's pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's like having
a
personal travel agent.
Yeah, like a little travel agent.
Built into your car.
Right in your car.
Okay, so one of the things
That's seriously cool.
that really jumped out at me
Yeah.
from the research was
What was it?
how LLMs could revolutionize public transportation.
Public transportation, absolutely. This is an area with
huge potential.
huge potential, yeah. I mean,
Imagine a world where bus and train schedules are constantly
adapting to
demand.
real-time demand.
Making sure you never have to wait.
Yeah, you never have to wait too long.
Too long for a ride.
So LLMs can
like analyze
ridership patterns,
predict surges in demand. Even optimize routes. To minimize
travel times.
Yeah. So it's not just about making public transport.
It's not just about efficiency.
It's about making it
more attractive.
Yeah, like a more
attractive option.
Attractive option overall.
Yeah.
For sure.
And we're already seeing
this.
This in action.
Yeah, like in action.
One study in our stack.
It looks at how Cape Town
used an LLM to improve its bus system.
And by
predicting
ridership patterns.
Yeah, predicting ridership patterns.
They were able to
create
much more efficient schedules.
Yeah.
Reducing wait times and overcrowding.
Reducing wait times, less crowding.
Huh.
It's great.
What example?
Yeah, it's a great example of how LLMs can help make cities more livable. And sustainable.
Yeah, more livable and sustainable.
For sure.
It's amazing to think about.
It is amazing.
The potential.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing.
But of course, with
your knowledge, there are
challenges.
Yeah, for sure.
And one of the big ones
is
the data. These systems need so much data.
The sheer amount of data these systems need
to work effectively.
It's crazy.
We're
talking about data from traffic cameras,
data
from sensors, GPS devices,
even social media feeds.
Yeah.
It's
a ton of information.
amount of information.
Yeah.
And making sure it's
accurate and reliable is crucial. Yeah.
And then
there's the question of making these systems
work in
real time.
Yeah. Traffic
is constantly changing.
So these LLMs
have got to adapt
on the fly.
Yeah.
And that's where
computational
power comes in.
Yeah.
Running
these models.
These complex models
in real time.
It takes
some serious
processing muscle. And we're talking the floor computer.
Crunching numbers,
yeah.
To keep traffic flowing smoothly.
To keep everything a huge challenge.
Yeah.
But the
researchers are tackling
head on.
Yeah, they're all over it.
Sounds like
it's exciting. We're still in
the early stages.
But the potential
is undeniable.
Yeah.
It's going to be wild.
Okay, so let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on
to some specific examples. Some
one.
LLMs that are already at work.
Already working.
In the transportation world.
In the real world.
You mentioned a couple case studies earlier.
Yeah, we did.
Let's dive into those next.
Let's do it.
All right, so we've been talking about all these exciting possibilities, but I want to see what's actually out there right now. Like, what kind of real-world examples are we seeing?
Well, one that really impressed me is TrafficBert. It's specifically designed to tackle traffic prediction, and it's already showing some remarkable results.
TrafficBert. Yeah, that name rings a bell.
It's been making waves in the research world. What sets it apart is how it processes information. It uses this thing called multi-head self-attention. Yeah, it's a mouthful, I know. But basically, it allows it to analyze relationships between different traffic data points over time.
So it's kind of like how
Kind of like how we humans
We humans.
intuitively understand traffic patterns.
Yeah.
Like we just know that if there's an accident on this road, it's going to affect traffic on these other roads.
Yeah, it's like it's seeing the bigger picture.
Exactly. It's not just looking at individual snapshots of traffic data. It's seeing how things are interconnected.
And because of that,
Because of that, it can predict those cascading effects that lead to major traffic jams.
so it's like a domino effect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like one thing leads to another, and before you know it, you're stuck in a massive jam.
And traffic Gert can see that coming.
It can see it coming miles away. The research shows it's outperforming traditional models by a significant margin.
So for someone like me who hates being stuck in traffic, Traffic Bert sounds like a dream come true.
It's definitely a game changer. But what about those of us who enjoy the journey itself? Are there LLMs that cater to that side of things?
You know what? You read my mind, so I was just going to ask that.
Well, you're in luck. One of the sources highlights TransDT, an LLM focused on travel time estimation and route suggestion. But here's the twist. It goes beyond just finding the fastest route. It can factor in things like scenic beauty or historical landmarks, creating a route tailored to your personal interests.
So if I'm in the mood for like a leisurely drive through the countryside?
Exactly. TransT can hook you up with a route that takes in all the best views.
That's so cool. It's like having a personalized tour guide.
Right, in your navigation system. And the accuracy is pretty impressive, too. It takes into account real-time traffic road closures, even things like the time of day, to give you a reliable estimate of how long the journey will take.
So it's not just about pretty views, it's also about getting you there on time.
Exactly. It combines the best of both worlds.
It seems like there's an LLM for almost every aspect of transportation these days, from optimizing traffic lights to personalized navigation, even revolutionizing public transport. But how are all these different applications coming together to create a truly intelligent transportation system?
That's the exciting part. We're starting to see LLMs being integrated into traffic control centers, acting as the brains of the operation.
So they're like the conductor of the entire transportation system.
Exactly. They can analyze massive amounts of data from all across the city, traffic cameras, sensors, GPS devices, you name it, and make real-time decisions to keep things flowing smoothly.
So it's like having an air traffic controller for the entire city.
That's a great analogy. These systems can anticipate congestion before it happens, adjust traffic signal timings to minimize delays, and even reroute traffic in case of accidents or emergencies.
It sounds like the future of city driving is looking a lot less stressful.
I think so, but of course there are still challenges.
Right. We've talked about data requirements and computational power, but what are some of the other hurdles that researchers are facing?
Well, one of the big ones is ensuring these systems are robust and reliable. We're talking about AI making decisions that could impact people's safety. So we need to be absolutely sure they're up to the task.
So it's not just about getting them to work.
It's about making sure they work flawlessly under all sorts of conditions.
Like in bad weather.
Yeah, bad weather, heavy traffic, unexpected events, you name it.
And that means?
That means rigorous testing, constant monitoring, and ongoing research to improve their capabilities.
It's clear that there's still a lot of work to be done.
Definitely.
But the progress we're seeing is incredible.
The progress is amazing. It's moving so fast, it's hard to keep up sometimes.
What do you think the next few years hold for LLMs in transportation? Where are things headed?
That's a great question, and one we'll be diving into in the final part of our deep dive. We've got some really exciting research and future directions to explore, so stay tuned.
All right, so we've talked about the potential, the challenges, but now I'm curious, like, what's next? What does the road ahead look like for LLMs in transportation?
Well, one thing is clear, like data. Data is going to be key.
Yeah, data.
LMs are incredible at finding those patterns, making predictions.
Right.
But they need the right fuel.
So it's not just about collecting more data.
It's not just about more, it's about quality over quantity.
Okay, quality over quantity.
We need to develop smarter data processing techniques
Okay.
that can handle this crazy volume and complexity of traffic data.
The complexity, yeah.
Imagine systems that can filter out the noise,
Okay.
identify the most relevant information,
The good stuff.
the good stuff, and then make sure it's accurate and reliable
Before it even gets to the LLM.
before it even gets to those AI models. Yeah.
So it's like refining the raw data
It's like refining it
into a gourmet meal.
into a gourmet meal for these data-hungry LLMs.
Okay, so we're talking about gourmet data now.
Gourmet data, yeah.
But what about those computational challenges?
Right, yeah.
We talked about earlier.
We talked about how running these models in real time
It takes a lot of power.
takes some serious processing power.
Are there any solutions?
There are some really promising avenues.
Okay.
One is like developing more efficient LLM algorithms.
Okay, so like streamlining that AI thought process.
Yeah, imagine streamlining the AI's thought process so it can get the same results using less power.
So making the AI think smarter, not harder.
Smarter, not harder, exactly.
I like that.
Another exciting area is edge computing.
Edge computing.
So instead of relying on these massive cloud servers to do all the heavy lifting,
Yeah.
we can move some of that processing power closer to the action.
Okay, closer to the action.
Onboard vehicles, roadside units.
Okay, so like right there where it's happening.
Right there in the thick of it.
So less lag.
Less latency, yeah. And that allows for that real-time decision-making,
Real-time decision-making there.
which is crucial for something as dynamic as traffic.
There's traffic, yeah.
Traffic management.
Okay, so it sounds like
It sounds like
we're on the cusp.
we're on the cusp of some major breakthroughs.
Yeah. Some major breakthroughs, yeah.
But let's not forget about the human side of things.
The human side.
How do we ensure that these systems are developed responsibly,
Responsibly, yeah.
addressing those potential biases,
Yeah.
protecting people's privacy?
That's huge.
Yeah, our sources really emphasize this.
Okay.
The importance of creating those ethical frameworks.
Ethical frameworks, yeah.
For AI development, we need to very conscious of those potential biases in the data that's used to train these models.
The data that we feed them.
The data that we feed them.
Yeah.
And we need to build in strong privacy protections from the get-go.
From day one.
From day one, absolutely.
So it's not just about making these systems work.
It's not just about making them work, it's about making sure they work for everyone.
For everyone.
Fairly and ethically.
Fairly and ethically.
Yeah.
And that requires
That requires collaboration
collaboration, yeah.
between researchers, policymakers, and the public.
Everyone working together.
Everyone working together, it's a complex challenge.
It is.
But one we need to address head on.
We got to figure this out.
We got to figure it out.
So as we're wrapping up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what stands out to you as the most exciting or maybe the most daunting?
The most exciting, I think for me, it's the potential to transform our cities.
Transform our cities, yeah.
Imagine a future where commutes are stress-free, traffic just flows smoothly,
Yeah.
and public transportation is so efficient and so enjoyable
Yeah.
that it becomes the preferred way to get around.
That's the dream.
That's a future worth striving for.
It is. It's a future worth striving for.
Definitely.
This deep dive has given us a lot to think about.
A lot to think about.
For our listeners out there,
Yeah.
what's one key takeaway you hope they walk away with?
I hope they come away with a sense of both the immense possibilities, but also the importance of responsible development.
Yeah, possibilities and responsibilities.
This technology has the potential to make our lives so much better,
In so many ways.
but we need to approach it thoughtfully, ethically.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as always, we encourage you to keep exploring.
Keep learning.
Keep learning.
Keep diving deep.
Keep diving deep into the topics that matter to you.
That's what we're all about.
That's a wrap for this episode of The Deep Dive.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.